Most people spend their entire lives stuck in the same frustrating loop. They set a big goal, they feel excited about it, they tell everyone they're finally going to change their life, and for the first week or two, everything feels amazing. They wake up early, they go to the gym, they work on their business idea, they start learning new skills. It feels like this time is different. But then something slowly happens. The excitement fades. The routine starts feeling harder. A few days get skipped. One missed day turns into a missed week. And before they even realize it, they've completely stopped. 6 months later, they come back to the same goal again, full of motivation, promising themselves that this time they will actually stick with it. But the same cycle repeats. The same excitement, the same burnout, and the same result. I know this cycle because I lived it for years. I would set fitness goals, business goals, money goals, productivity goals, and somehow I would fail almost every single time. And for a long time, I thought the problem was me. I thought maybe I wasn't disciplined enough, maybe I wasn't motivated enough, maybe I just didn't have what it takes. But the truth was something completely different. The problem wasn't that I was lazy or incapable. The problem was that I was focusing on the wrong thing. I was chasing outcomes instead of building processes. And the moment I shifted my focus from goals to systems, everything started changing. My business became stable, my habits improved, and I ended up in the best shape I had been in years. That one shift completely changed how I approached progress. So if you've ever felt stuck in that loop of starting and quitting, getting motivated and then losing momentum, this is going to change the way you think about success. Because once you understand the difference between goals and systems, you start approaching your life in a completely different way. Let's start by talking about why goals fail so often. Now, before you misunderstand, goals are not completely useless. They can give you direction. They can help you visualize where you want to go. But the problem is that most people put all the pressure on one distant moment in the future. Think about a typical goal like losing 10 kilos. It sounds simple, but every single day until you reach that number, your brain keeps reminding you that you haven't achieved it yet. You step on the scale, the number hasn't moved enough, and instantly it feels like failure. Even if you're making progress, it doesn't feel satisfying because you haven't reached the finish line yet. That constant feeling of being not there yet slowly drains your energy. Another major issue with goals is that they rely heavily on motivation, and motivation is one of the most unreliable things you can depend on. Motivation shows up when things are exciting and new. It's there on day one when you buy new gym clothes or announce your new project to your friends. It's there when you post that first progress photo or start something fresh. But 2 weeks later, when the excitement fades, when you're tired after work, when it's raining outside and your bed feels comfortable, motivation disappears completely. And if motivation is the only thing keeping you moving, then the moment it disappears, your progress stops too. Goals also create another hidden problem that most people don't notice. They postpone happiness. When your mind becomes obsessed with reaching a certain milestone, you start telling yourself that you can only feel satisfied when you reach that specific point. If your goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers, you start thinking that happiness only comes when you hit that number. But along the way, you might reach 10,000, 20,000, even 50,000 subscribers, and somehow it still doesn't feel enough. Instead of celebrating progress, your mind keeps focusing on what hasn't been achieved yet. You train yourself to ignore the journey and only value the final moment. And even when you finally reach the goal, the excitement usually lasts for a very short time. You celebrate for a day or two, maybe take a screenshot of the milestone, and then suddenly you feel empty again, because now you need a new goal. You need another number to chase. You end up back on the same hamster wheel, where satisfaction always feels just out of reach. I remember when I decided I wanted to get in shape a few years ago. I set the classic goal that almost everyone sets. I told myself I would have visible abs by summer. At the beginning, I was extremely motivated. I went to the gym every day for the first week. I felt proud of myself. But then life happened. I skipped one day, then another day. Soon it had been 2 weeks without going, and my brain quickly created a new excuse. Summer is still far away. I can start again next week. The goal felt too far away and too vague. It required months of consistent motivation, and for most people, that just isn't realistic. That's the problem with goals. They focus entirely on the final result, but results take time, and during that long time between starting and achieving, most people lose direction. That's exactly where systems come in. So what exactly is a system? In simple terms, a system is the process that leads you toward success, whether you feel motivated or not. It's the daily routine, the repeatable actions, the habits you follow, regardless of how you feel that day. A system focuses on what you do every day instead of what you hope to achieve someday. Let's look at a few simple examples to make this clear. Imagine your goal is to write a book. That sounds impressive, but it's also overwhelming. Now turn that goal into a system. Instead of thinking about finishing a book, you commit to writing 500 words every day. Doesn't matter if those words are perfect, doesn't matter if you feel inspired, you just show up and write 500 words. Over time, those words accumulate, and before you even realize it, you have chapters forming. Now think about growing a YouTube channel. The goal might be to reach 100,000 subscribers, but a system would look very different. The system could be uploading one video every week and improving something in each video by just 1%. Maybe the hook gets stronger. Maybe the editing gets smoother. Maybe the thumbnail becomes more eye-catching. Each small improvement compounds over time. Or imagine someone who wants to get fit. Instead of focusing on losing 10 kilos, they build a system where they move their body for 30 minutes every single day. Some days it might be a full workout at the gym. Other days it might just be a walk, a jog, or even dancing around in their room. But the rule is simple. Move for 30 minutes every day. Do you see the difference? The goal is the destination. The system is the vehicle that actually takes you there. And when you focus on the vehicle instead of obsessing over the destination, something powerful happens. The pressure disappears. You stop worrying about the outcome and start focusing on the action. When you build a strong system and follow it consistently, success stops feeling like something you have to chase. Instead, it becomes something that naturally happens over time. You're no longer waiting for motivation or perfect conditions. You're simply showing up and doing the work, and letting consistency compound. Here's an important way to understand the difference. Goals focus on results, while systems focus on processes. Goals make success feel like a single big moment in the future. Systems make success feel like something you practice every day. Goals are easy to quit because one mistake feels like failure, but systems are hard to stop because they slowly become part of your identity. Imagine two people trying to learn guitar. One person focuses on the goal of performing at an open mic night in 6 months. The other person builds a simple system of practicing 20 minutes every day. The first person might reach that performance, feel proud for a moment, and then stop practicing. But the second person continues practicing every day for years. Over time, their skill grows far beyond that single performance moment. That's the power of systems. When you build a strong system and follow it consistently, success stops feeling like something you have to chase. Instead, it becomes something that naturally happens over time. You're no longer waiting for motivation or perfect conditions. You're simply showing up and doing the work, and letting consistency compound. Here's a great real-world example of this from writer James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. His success didn't begin with the goal of writing a best-selling book. Instead, he followed a simple system, publishing one article every Monday and Thursday. Week after week, he kept writing, improving, and sharing his ideas. Over time, those articles built a loyal audience. So when he finally released his book, millions of people were already ready to read it. The book wasn't the system. The consistent writing was. You see the same pattern with successful YouTubers. From the outside, it often looks like they went viral overnight. But if you look closely, most of them uploaded videos consistently for years. Their system was simple. Create a video, publish it, and improve the next one. Over time, those small improvements compounded. That's the real power of systems. Small actions repeated consistently create results that seem unbelievable from the outside, but for the person following the system, it simply feels like showing up and doing the work. Looking back at my old gym story, I realized that if I had focused on the system instead of the goal, everything would have been easier. Instead of chasing the idea of having abs by summer, I could have focused on simply showing up at the gym for 20 minutes a day. I wouldn't have needed motivation. I would have just become the kind of person who works out regularly. And that's what systems really do. They change your identity. Instead of chasing success occasionally, you become the kind of person who practices success every day. So don't spend your life chasing goals and feeling like a failure whenever you slip up. Focus on building systems that make progress automatic, because in the end, goals might start the journey, but systems are what actually get you there.